What's up, YouTube? Erod212 here, and this video is going to be about the first big comic show I went to for 2021. I want to show you what books I got and what strategies I used to purchase these books. So this con was in New Hampshire, and it was the first big con of 2021 for the whole comic book community. So you had people coming down from all over. It was well worth the 5-hour drive. It took me 4.5 hours to go, 5 hours to come back. Thank God I had my son as my road dog with me. We made it up and down and made the ride a lot easier. Once I got there, it was just fantastic. The community was all staying at the same hotel. We had dinner together, and then 3 Men in the Basement set up live, and we're doing some interviews. Check out their video. It was a good time. Pressable defects were in effect there, and they were set up at the con. 3 Men in the Basement were also set up, but I know Pressable Defects were doing interviews on the show floor, and I mean, it just had that big con feeling. Now, it's not a place for cosplay. This was kind of like Baltimore Comic Con-esque, where it's all about comic books. And the name of the show was Little Giants Comics ran it, and it was called Old School Comic Show. So you know the vibe. And I got to tell you, Little Giant Comics had probably the biggest booth I've ever seen at a show for one vendor. They really, really had a great, great booth, and it was fantastic. So I got myself a nice little fat stack there, and I want to talk to you about these books. But before I do, let me show you what this show floor looked like.
downloaded some of them something's getting the children.
Oh yeah, I know.
Only $500 now. That's what I had people do. Yeah.
They have one. They have a 9.9.
They're great.
So you have nobody else has it.
All right, so that's what the floor looked like. I mean, it was pretty big, and it was almost completely comic book vendors. There were very few niche type of stuff in there, no T-shirts or anything like that, just strictly comics. And like I said, man from Beantown was there. My man Amazing Murphinator was there. Desired Comics, the New York Warriors were all in there. You know, Big E's was there, and Manny and Joke M21. Who else am I missing here? Oh, Joey Does Comics was there with his dad. It was nice meeting him. And, of course, my boy, The Defects, and Three Men in the Basement. If I missed anybody else, I apologize. Oh, and Art Chemist, Arsenio was also there, and Emerald Knight was there also. So it was just really good to meet up with a lot of guys in the community, people that were fans of the show coming up and talking to us. That was always a lot of fun. So usually when I go to these cons, I'll survey the whole area first, unless something I see, I think it's not going to be there when I get back. There are a few books that I always target, as do we all. And I went there with a couple of books to target. But what happens is I found a white whale there. And you have to stay to the end of this video because you cannot miss this book. This book is a once-in-a-lifetime book for me. I have never seen it at a show. And shout out to my man Josh Graff from East Meets West for hooking me up, because he found a copy and then he pointed me towards another. So the odds of seeing this book, two copies of this book in one show, slim to none. I'm telling you, I've been to other conventions, I've never seen it. So stay tuned though, but I'll show you. So I picked up a nice copy of Hulk #1, The Wizard World, Michael Turner edition. I think this book is going to get a lot of heat, especially with the Red Hulk, and I love the Turner variant on it. So it's a really, really nice book. Picked up a high-grade copy of Truth, Red, White, and Black. Anybody who hasn't seen this series, check it out. And if you have not read this, go and read it. I'm going to be honest, I had never read it before. I went back and read this recently, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. With everything that's going on in today's society, I think this book right now is a book to have and keep for forever. It's just one of those significant books that was written well by Marvel, way ahead of its time. Once again, Marvel does it right, and they hit social points and economical points. They hit everything on this. This book is just fantastic. So when I go to these cons, like I said, I'll walk around and I'll survey the whole area, look to see who has books that I want. The other thing I like to do is I like to bundle, and I'll tell the dealer before I even start. I'll pick out a book. If I see multiple books I want to look at, and I'm looking at the wall and I'm seeing multiple books, I'll ask to see the books. Sometimes see two at a time. And if I'm taking two books, I'll tell them, hey, if I bundle these up, can we work out a price? 90% of the time, they're going to say yes. So you're going to get some type of a discount. The other thing that I find works really well for me, cash is king. Like everybody else, if you have cash, you don't have to claim it sometimes. And, I'm not going to get into that whole tax bracket stuff, but cash rules. The other thing that I've started developing and using a lot at these shows is a lot of vendors are now accepting PayPal, friends, and family. That's a good tip for you guys to know. If you have PayPal, either a card linked to PayPal, or you have, a balance in your PayPal account, they will accept PayPal, friends, and family. Ask them what they're accepting. It doesn't have to be a credit card anymore. And then you're not paying your points on your card. You're just paying your PayPal. So I like that. They save 3% on the friends and family, and you sometimes get a better deal. So those are the little strategies that I use when I'm trying to purchase books from people. But like a book like this, I took this book here, and this is DC Comics Presents number 47, his first appearance of He-Man. This book blew up. I took this book and this book, and this is FF number 36. And this is the first appearance of the Frightful Four, first appearance of Medusa from the Inhumans. That's the main reason for me to get this book, because I swear that Feige is going to bring him back. There's been no real solid news on this, just me saying what I feel. But got both of these books and I bundled them together, and I was able to get, I think it was like $35 off of the total. So if you don't ask, you're not going to get. So, good way of doing it. These next two books, one of them was one of my Target books. Actually, this was a Target book for me. Okay. And then another book I had here was a Target book for me. This was not it, but I had to take this. This is Marvel Superheroes, number 17, story with the Black Knight. And these Marvel Superhero books actually have quite a few good appearances. You also have 20, which is the Doctor Doom issue. And Man from Beantown just picked up a really nice copy of that. So I picked this up from Harley Yee, and that was one of my first buys. And I also picked this up. And this was another Target book for me. And that's Fantastic Four, number 46. First appearance of Black Bolt. Black Bolt, I think, you know how Feige is? Black Bolt is just too strong a character to let him, and with all the ties to the Fantastic Four, to let him just lie dormant after that TV series and the crap that they did on that TV series. I apologize for the Mylar, but I'm just trying to get a good picture. But it's a pretty nice copy. It could use a little bit of a press, so I got the right guy for that. And I was excited to get those two books. So had a few on my list. Those two were definitely high on my list, and I was able to get them. Picked these up at the end of the show, and X-23 number 1. This is her first solo series. This is the variant. No, this is the Philip Tan, I believe it is. Yes. And then the regular edition on it. And then shout out to my man Biggie's Comics from Home of the New York Warriors, because he pointed this book out to me. I had met up with him and Manny and Joker, and they had bought a book, and there was a third copy. So he pointed me right in that direction. As a matter of fact, if you have a chance, go check out the Home of the New York Warriors channel, because Biggie just dropped his video on his books and what strategies he used. So good video to watch if you haven't watched it. If you haven't checked out New York Warriors, great show. Check them out. But Star Wars, Darth Maul, Son of Dathomir, number 1. This is the first appearance of the Black Saber in this book. Great book. Now, there is a Wizard World variant, which is scarcer. I do have it, but there's also a Wizard World sketch, which is insane. It's a really low print run. So a good book for Star Wars fans to pick up. And I mean, that's an insane Darth Maul cover. Look at that. Fantastic. A book I've speculated on before. I picked it up again at the right price. New X-Men 128, First Phantom X. Here you go. So Little Giant Comics. I mean, they're set up. You can see it in the video. It was huge. But talking to some other guys, their war books were great. But what I've never seen before is the inventory they had on their boxes, because it was insane. I was walking in a book like this, second appearance and origin of Man-Wolf. Great book to have. There were like 5 copies in there. You don't see that at any con I've been to. Another book I picked up and right here. So this is Amazing Spider-Man number 134, right? And it's the first tarantula, but it's also, they call it a cameo, but you tell me, if 129 is the first appearance of the Punisher, right, then how is this not considered the second appearance of the Punisher? I don't understand it. 135 is considered the second appearance. They call this the cameo, but he already had a full appearance. How is that a cameo? Either way, great, underrated book to have. There were multiple copies of this in there. Picked up a pretty nice copy of X-Men number 4, First Omega Red. Has a little bit of a spine roll, a little color rub, probably a 9.6, but I'll take this every day of the week. Now, a book that's really gotten hot, but I swear by it, and it's right here, X-Men 133. This is one of my favorite stories growing up, and I'll put it over here just to show you. This is first Wolverine solo story. It's when he fights underneath in the sewers, There's a whole battle scene. I mean, you just see how ferocious Wolverine can be. Growing up, this was one of my favorite books. I believe this book is from like 1980 or 82. Anyway, the thing with this is that newsstands, and I picked this up too, there was a newsstand copies, were more prevalent at that point. Remember, there were more newsstands than there were LCSs. So to find this, which people aren't giving it the dues that they should be, you know, everybody's jumping on newsstand and everything is newsstand. This is probably shoulder printed. So 133, and these are all nice copies. These are all probably like 9.2 copies, maybe 9.4. This was there also, and these are all from the Little Giant Comics. Wolverine #1, the miniseries. This book has gone through Stratosphere, but again, it's that direct edition, not the newsstand. Another book I swear by, and shout out to my son. He was digging for me and helping me out. He pulled this out of there, and that's that first Norman Osborn. Just a great, great book. Another great first appearance right here is Amazing Spider-Man 42. I know my man, Amazing Murphinator, got a copy of this, and that's the first appearance of Mary Jane Watson. So good book. And now here's another book I'm specking on. Excuse me. I think this book here has a lot of room to grow for multiple reasons. It is X-Men #104. It is a fantastic homage cover to X-Men #1, but it is also the first appearance of the Starjammers, who ties to Lilandra, all of the intergalactic stuff that the X-Men could be involved in. But it also is the first appearance, and this is the cameo, first appearance of Corsair, who is the father of Scott Summers and Alex Summers, who's Havoc. So I think that would be a great twist, a great way of taking the X-Men in a different direction. Another direction that the X-Men can go in, and a book that a lot of people respect on, Ties to the Savage Land is X-Men 60, first appearance of Sauron. Pretty nice copy. Actually, a really nice copy. Again, all of these books right now that I'm showing right now were from Little Giant Comics. This was a clean copy. They had it down as there actually is no grade, but it's a clean copy. I like it. I like it a lot. Probably like a 6.0, from that era. Nice book to have. And then this is the last book I believe I picked from Little Giants. I picked it up at the end of the day. I just kept on walking by it, and I think that this book has not hit its ceiling. This Captain America #100. It's his first solo title in the Silver Age. And a la Submariner #1 and Iron #1, these books are getting hot now. Real hot. Early Cap, he was in Tales of Suspense for a while, but first solo story. And I mean, just look at that Kirby cover. That is iconic. Just a beautiful, beautiful Jack Kirby cover. And a lot of times this book will be pretty tan. This book sits pretty well. It's a pretty nice copy. Another book I keep picking up at the shows. And they just said, I just saw some news that they are going to be recasting, and I don't know how true it is. They're going to use Daredevil, the actors for Daredevil. They're going to use Charlie Cox, and they're going to use Kingpin, and Jessica Jones are going to stay the same, but that they're going to be recasting Luke Cage and Iron Fist. And the TV series from Netflix is not going to be canon. So they could take it in a whole different way. What does that mean to me? As a speculator, I would be looking at the books that the Principal Defects have been talking about. I've talked about it on this channel too. It's the hero for hire. You cast two brand new guys, you introduce them separately, tie them in, and be it a TV series or whatever, it doesn't have to be a movie. You have Luke Cage and Danny Rand, hero for hires, and they can intertwine with the movies as Marvel is doing. I think that it's a great marketing strategy. It would be a lot of fun. And then you could introduce people like Colleen Wing, Misty Knight, just all of these people that tie in. So Luke Cage, I'm telling you, this book is going to pop. Right now, this book is underrated. This and Marvel Premiere 15 are underrated books right now. And, two books that you don't see too often right now. First book, I have a copy, and I want to give a shout out to my man UniX. If you guys don't follow Universe X on Instagram, check him out. Great guy. He gifted me a copy of this. I haven't showed it because I want to press them out and get them graded before I do that. But I was able to find a second copy, and that's Ultimate Fallout 4. And this is the Maul variant. So these books were released in Mexico. It's usually a con they do it, but I believe these were through the mail. The problem with this in getting these books, and the print one is pretty low, but you can't buy them from the United States. You need a address in Mexico, I believe it is. So tough book to get. My man UniX gifted me one of these, so shout out to him. This was the second copy, and I picked this up. Copies of this were selling. Check it out on eBay, but prices on this book are pretty high. 9/8 going for over $500. So nice book. And then, like I said, the white whale of the show for me. And again, shout out to Josh Grav. Appreciate you hooking it up. Just give you a quick story before I show this book. But early on in the con, I was walking around. Josh and I kept meeting up at Boots while we were shopping. And he comes over and he shows me a book. And he goes, check this out. And I was like, whoa, I have not seen it at a con. And he goes, well, there's another one down there. I was in the middle of paying for some books. He went over there, held the book for me, talked to the dealer, told him somebody was coming for it. I mean, this guy went out of his way for me, and I appreciate it 100%, but that's what this community is about, helping each other out. And I went over there, and I'll tell you the price on the book because this is the most expensive book I bought at the con. Vendor wanted $650 for it. That was the sticker price. Then he went down to $600. A little negotiating, and I was able to get this book for $550. To me, it's worth it. It's not leaving my PC. It's a rare book. And I'll tell you why it's rare. You'll probably know, but it's this book here. It's Marvel Celebrates Stan Lee. Just take a look at that. I believe it's an Art Adams cover. It's an Adam Kubert cover. It's a fantastic Adam Kubert cover. His father was a legend. His brother's a legend also. Kubert School in New Jersey for many years. Put so many artists through. But this book was given out at the Beacon Theater in New York when they held a tribute for Stan Lee. So doing some research, CGC census only shows 52 copies of this book on the census right now. Of the 52, only 27 are CGC 9.8s. So this was a 1 per at the show. I need to know the numbers, so I went and I checked the seating at the Beacon Theater, and it sits 2,600 people. Let's say they made 3,000 of these things. Only 52 are out there, slabbed, and there were only like 4 or 5 of them on eBay right now. So most of these are staying in people's personal collections. Think about all the great artists that were there that are probably going to keep this as a memento or something to pass on to their children along the line. For 2 copies of this book to be at a con, I just thought that was super rare. But you guys let me know what you guys think. And that's my video. I appreciate you guys watching.